In this tutorial, we're going to go over the basics of a generative music tool and automated sample browser called MIDI in Ableton Live. MIDI consists of a large number of chained sub-devices such as arpeggiators, scale devices, chord devices, and velocity devices, all chained together in a way that gives a lot of flexibility, control, and unpredictability to sample playback. The purpose of this tutorial is just to get you going with MIDI's 8 basic macro controls. MIDI is named after painter Georges Seurat, who painted with dots, with a technique called Pointilism. The MIDI device also paints with dots by spraying a flow of MIDI notes over a range of samples. MIDI is a part of the HEM sample library, an open-source collection of 1,800-plus sound samples particularly suited to experimental music tropes. All of this content is free to download from the repository on github.com. Once you've got the tutorial set downloaded, launch that set in Ableton Live. You're already set up with a starter clip and a preset called Antique Piano. Press the starter clip and take a minute to listen to the sound. Now open the Sounds Rack device. Note how the keys light up. Let's switch to a more percussive sound so we can really see what MIDI is doing. The top row of MIDI's controls adjust the quality of MIDI's generated playback. Listen to what happens when the event rate is slow and the note rate is high. MIDI's note spray seems to get clumpy and more phrase-like. Now let's speed it up, so we can better see how MIDI's 0, window, and wander settings work. Listen to what happens when the 0 control is swept up and down. Look at what happens in the sampler's zone editor. Listen to what happens when the window control is swept up and down. Note that the window begins to increase only to the right of the 0, not off to both sides. Now set a relatively small window of 7 semitones or so. Then listen and look what happens when the wander control is swept up and down. You'll see samples from outside of the selected range get randomly added to Seurat's playback. Lastly, see what happens when the throttle control is dialed down. At first, we get fine-grained control over MIDI's spray density. If we dial down the throttle nearly all the way, we can get extreme minimal playback with long durations of silence. That's all for now. Check out the next tutorial, Generative Poetry, in which we'll go over various sampler settings that work well with Seurat MIDI, with the practical application of live generative poetry readings.